Okay, so in today's class, we are almost finishing our our topic. This is going to be the last class before revision. If ever you want to go for revision, then we will go for revision. But this is going to be the normal class that we are taking for the last time. Okay, so as I have said, malaria is caused by Plasmodium, different species of Plasmodium. It is one of the most important protozoan disease, not only in human being, but in case of and bird also, and not only that, some malaria are causing in non-human primates like monkeys and what are those? Hologibbons and all this. Okay, so these are really important. As I have said, a textbook which is written in for protozoology without naming malaria, without giving some chapter of Plasmodium, they used to say it is incomplete. Okay, so this is one of the most very important infectious disease. I'm talking about infectious disease. Okay, so they said that every minute there is one person dies due to malaria. So the mortality, especially in Southeast Asian countries and African countries, is very heavy. The parasite is really important for two groups of people. One is infants, I mean children below 10 years, and another one is pregnant women. Okay, so these two group, they are really a victim of this parasite. So there are many life loss due to malaria. As I have said, it is estimated that every minute one person dies. So out of all the infectious organism infecting human being, irrespective of course, now coronavirus, SARS, now coronavirus COVID-19 is important, but excluding this one, this malaria is one of the most important human health havoc, human health hazardous. Okay, so to know some portion and to have a little bit of knowledge at least is really important and what. So we will have a brief introduction about malaria and how the life cycle continue, how the life cycle completes, and what are the drugs. I have not listed out the drugs because I have not stretched much about the human side also. Okay, so you see here the parasites, of course, whatever the parasite we have discussed, they belongs to Coccidia, but from this subclass malaria diverse out. Okay, so it belongs to the parasite Pyroplasmia, and in the suborder, if you see whatever parasites under Eimeridae, Sarcosistidae, they are under Eimerina order, but malaria belongs to Haemosporina order Haemosporina. Okay, so under this Haemosporina order, there is one family, that is Plasmodidae. Okay, so the parasite is known as Plasmodium and Haemoproteus. This is causing pigeon malaria. Pigeon. Okay, bird pigeon malaria, and Plasmodium is very important. Okay, so malaria, the name malaria is etymology. If you see that, is it means that bad air, BAD. That means not good air. Okay. Earlier, when people were not knowing anything about malaria, they used to suffer from fever, and they used to be there was high mortality also, especially in swamp area. When it's in a marshy land. Okay, so what people were speculating was that the air in and around the marshy area, marshland, the marshy land and the swampy area, they said the air is bad, the air quality is bad. That's why they just give the names, because they did not know that it is caused by a protozoa which is transmitted by mosquitoes. They didn't know. Okay, as I have said in the babesiosis class, that in 1893, two scientists, Theobald Smith and Kilbourne, they have discovered and they elucidate the life cycle of Babesia bigemina, which is transmitted by ticks. So based on that knowledge only, scientists were speculating and they theorize it, or they hypothesize it, that yes, some organisms are transmitted by blood-sucking arthropods. So later on, one scientist, you know, that Ronald Ross, you might have heard. You have heard, I guess so. Okay, Ronald Ross, who won Nobel Prize in the year 1902. He was a British physician who posted in India. So he went to medical conference in Italy and in Europe, I should say. So he met one scientist. His name is Grassi. Okay, in Italian scientist Grassi. So Grassi. Okay, so they were discussing and they share their postulate and they share their hypothesis that yes, malaria could be transmitted by, malaria could be transmitted by some mosquitoes. So when he comes back to India, he was posted in Kolkata at the time. He dissect the what is that? Mosquitoes. For hundreds of mosquitoes, he dissect. He's tried to observe the sporozoids in the salivary gland of mosquitoes. But you see, those days it must be very hot, Kolkata, because there was no air conditioner and he could not put on his ceiling fan. He could not put on his pedestal fan because mosquito is a, that is a small and it flies. So if fan is put on, it will be blown away. So he struggled. He even wrote a poem. Okay, please go check online. The poem caused by the poem written by Ronald Ross. Okay, so this physician Ronald Ross, he subsequently identified the life cycle, especially of pigeon bird life cycle. So in 1902, he was given a Nobel Prize. 1902, he was given a Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine. So he was the second scientist who won Nobel Prize. The first was Elie Mitchikov, Then second is Ronald Ross, who won Nobel Prize. Okay, so this is all the background of malaria. Okay. So next slide. Okay. So you see, in human being, there are four important malaria. One is, which is very, very commonly known to everyone, Plasmodium falciparum. Another one is Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium ovale, and Plasmodium malaria. Apart from this one, there are some zoonotic malaria, which are of monkey origin. Okay, we call them as non-human primate malaria. Okay, which are also transmitted by anopheline mosquitoes. Okay, these malaria are transmitted by Anopheles aegypti. On all these, they transmit the parasites. So among this one, Plasmodium knowlesi, among zoonotic malaria, okay, Plasmodium knowlesi, Plasmodium cynomolgi, Plasmodium inui, these are some of the important ones. Okay, so in India, of course, there are reports, but especially in northeastern India, whatever our diagnoses in the hospitals are either Plasmodium falciparum and Plasmodium vivax. We never know whether Plasmodium knowlesi is present in Mizoram or in the whole Northeast or not, or Plasmodium cynomolgi is present or absent. We don't know because there is no molecular studies. The identification is mostly based on microscopy. So based on microscopic observation, it is really, really tough to differentiate amongst them. So what I'm saying is that in the parasites, these zoonotic malaria have been reported from Burma, Myanmar, and Bangladesh. So there is a very, very likely chance that its presence is also in northeastern India, because we have not yet reported. Okay, so this is a good scope to pursue the study also, whether the presence or absence of malaria, zoonotic malaria in northeastern India. Okay, so I'm just going in brief only. Okay, I'm not going in detail, technical part. Everything will be in. Everything is in the easiest way. I'm just discussing. Okay, so this is the stage which can be observed under microscope. Okay, so you see here this one, they said it is a ring. Okay, just like your finger ring. This is the stone and these are the sand. Okay, some are also known as, you see, this is a ring form. Some are the ball ring. Where is the ball ring? Where is the ball ring? Okay, this one dot, another dot. So there are also the ball ring form are there. Okay, so these are the trophozoites. These are the multiplying stage inside the RBC. Okay, beautiful, isn't it? It's very, very easy to identify. You see, this is the organism inside the RBC, and this one stone head, another stone head of the ring. Okay, so these are some of the parasites. You see, this is clearly a ring form. This is a double ring form. This is a ring form. This is Gamon's form and all this. Okay, I will show you whenever you come back to Shelesi. I will show you the slides also. We are having a slide which is a person is heavily infected with malaria, especially Plasmodium falciparum. That we are having a slide. It's a beautiful one. Okay, so if you see the life cycle, a bit of understanding the life cycle is important. Okay, so let's see. We know that malaria is transmitted by what? Malaria is transmitted by anopheline mosquitoes, Anopheles. Okay, so mosquitoes inject the sporozoid. Okay, before they infect RBC, they form the sporozoid multiplies, and where do they first go? They first go in the liver. Okay, they multiplied in the liver. Okay, this is known as a sleeping stage. Sleeping. Okay, they call it as hypnozoids. Zoid derived from this one. Hypno means some hypnotics, you know. Okay, some sleepiness. Okay, so hypnozoids. Okay, this hypnozoid is going to act as a storage. This hypnozoid is going to act as a storage. Okay, so from this liver stage, they will come and infect RBC, and once in the RBC, they will form a ring form. Okay, they will multiply, and subsequently after heavy multiplication, it will rupture. It will rupture and infect the new RBC. Whenever the parasite is infecting new RBC, at that point, at that hour, there is going to be fever. Okay, that's why malaria we are having. We used to say that in case of malaria, there is periodic fever, right? So quotidian fever and all this, you can go through yourself. Okay, so where there is a specific time of fever in case of malaria is because they multiply and they break open at a specific time, and subsequently they infect non-infected RBC, and in this way they complete completes their division inside RBC. Some portion will divide into male gametocytes and female gametocytes. Okay, so these are the non-dividing form. I'm just going back one slide. Okay, so these are the gametocytes. Okay, these are the gametocytes, the large one. Oh, sorry, next. Okay, so these are the gametocytes which are not a ring form, okay, which are a large and which almost fill the RBC. Okay, so these are the gametocytes. These gametocytes will not divide anymore. Okay, these gametocytes will wait for the intermediate host, the mosquitoes, to inject the arthropod vector to ingest. So when these gametocytes are ingested by mosquitoes, inside the mosquitoes, I'm not going much in detail. Okay, they will not divide, and they will escape from the RBC, known as exflagellation, exflagellation. Okay, so when they exflagellate and the male and female gametocytes, they fuse together, they form a zygote, or they form a gametes. Okay, so subsequently they invade from the mosquito gut, they invade the salivary gland and the sporozoid. is now ready for injection, or the sporozoid is now ready to inject into a new host. Okay, in this way, the parasite completes its life cycle. Okay, so the details, if whatever I said is not clear, also you can go online, you can check on YouTube. There are many videos. Malaria is one of the most elaborately studied, what should I say, infectious organism in the world. Okay. Okay, so in today's class, we will also have a quick look on bird malaria. Okay, so bird malaria is transmitted by not anopheline mosquitoes, but it is transmitted by Culicine mosquitoes. Okay, so these are some of the species which is infecting bird. Okay, Plasmodium gallinaceum, Plasmodium juxtanuclear, Plasmodium relictum, Plasmodium griffithsi, Plasmodium circumflexum, which does not displace the host nucleus. So why, you might think, why to displace the nucleus? Because you see in bird malaria, someone is unmuting the sound. Chat on. Who is putting chat on? Lamji. Okay. So bird, in case of bird, there is the RBC, the erythrocyte, is nucleated, right? So some parasites, Plasmodium gallinaceum, the juxtanuclear, they do not displace the host nucleus. But some parasites like Plasmodium elongatum, Plasmodium durai, Plasmodium circumflexum, they cause distortion, or they cause displacement of the nucleus. Okay, so this is the Plasmodium gallinaceum, which does not displace the host nucleus. Okay, so this is the uninfected RBC. Okay, which is, these are the dark field is known as the nucleus. Okay, so these are the parasites which does not displace the nucleus. Okay, which are, okay, these are the parasites. So these are the parasites. These are the parasites. All right. Okay, so if you see the pathogenesis, the young bird and adult bird are equally susceptible. Here, in this case, as I told you, that the parasite is distributed all over the world except Antarctica. Okay, the parasite is prevalent except Antarctica. In all the 6 continents, parasite is prevalent, and the mortality might reach up to 80%. Okay, so how does the parasite produce pathogenesis? Is there will be production or progressive anemia, and there will be emaciation, and the liver will be enlarged, and the liver and the spleen. Okay, one thing I would like to go back here in human is why there is continuous episode, where there should be continuous episode of malaria, especially especially for those drunkard or alcoholic, because when the person is infected with malaria for a very long time, the hypnozoids sleeps in the liver. Okay, so if a person drinks, there will be liver cirrhosis. So whenever there is liver cirrhosis, whenever a portion of a liver is gets cirrhosis, and at every time there will be release of the merozoids from the liver, and there will be there will be what should I say? There will be a new infection every time. Okay, so as the parasite is already sleeping in the liver, then there will be bursting out of the merozoids, and they will infect a new RBC again and again and again. Okay, if a person drinks alcohol, then there will be a bit of liver cirrhosis, a bit of liver damage will be there. Then there will be continuous episode of malaria. Okay, so another one is pigeon malaria. So pigeon malaria, it is caused by Haemoproteus columbi, not by Plasmodium. Okay, so which is transmitted by hippoboscid fly. Patrosar have, I think he have said, this fly, it is known as a forest fly. All right. So Pseudolingia canarensis, this is the species. And apart from this one, Culicoides, a small group of parasite and fly also are transmitting. Okay. So this parasite is unique. Okay. So they form halter shape or hood that encircle the nucleus of the bird erythrocytes. Okay, so this is the halter shape which encircles the nucleus of RBC of bird. Okay, so these are the um, Haemoproteus columbi, the gammons of Haemoproteus columbi, which encircles the nucleus of bird erythrocytes. Okay, so there are three species. I will just finish in a minute only. One is Leucocytozoon simondi, which is transmitted by Simulium fly. Leucocytozoon spithi, which is also transmitted by Simulium fly, especially in Turkey. Leucocytozoon simondi, it is infecting duck. Okay, then the last one is Leucocytozoon cauleri, which is transmitted by Culicoides, which cause Bangkok hemorrhagic fever. Bangkok, Thailand. Okay, they cause Bangkok hemorrhagic fever. Okay, we'll just have a quick overview. Okay, Leucocytozoon simondi, it is causing, it forms two types of schizone. Okay, one is hepatic schizone and megaloschizone. These megaloschizone, these stored the nucleus. Okay, this is the host cell nucleus, and you see they form a cytoplasmic horn. They form a cytoplasmic horn. Okay, so this is the gammons. This is the megaloschizone. Okay, which distort the cell, its cells architecture, everything, and they form a cytoplasmic horn. Okay, so this much is sufficient for you. Okay, another one is Leucocytozoon simondi is infecting duck, especially of young bird, and there will be anorexia, there will be rapid breathing, and all this. Okay, another one is Leucocytozoon simondi. Okay, which split this nucleus, which split the nucleus. This is the gammon which split the nucleus of the infected RBC. Okay, which is infecting Turkey. Okay, this also is extremely pathogenic, more than 80% mortality and anorexia, emaciation, and general weakness you can see in bird. Okay, so the last one is Leucocytozoon cauleri, which is transmitted by Leucocytozoon cauleri, which is transmitted by Culicoides. Okay, so this cause Bangkok hemorrhagic fever. Okay, one more footnote I will add here. Okay, so you see that in the treatment of coronavirus, there is